What is SlabStox live show episode 113? And today we are here to talk about the card market movement in all the different sports. We are not just covering soccer. I know we've been covering a lot of soccer recently because of the World Cup. We are not just covering baseball because Nate loves baseball. We are doing basketball, baseball, football, soccer, hockey, and Formula One. There's not any WWE or UFC in here right now today. But if you have any suggestions for us and you're listening on podcast or on the YouTube live show right now, for a future episode, please let us know because we'd love to include some stuff to give you all some shout outs. Very exciting day for today's episode.
Yeah, should be a fun time looking at some of these sales.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, there's been, what do you say?
And discussing them.
Yes, for sure. There's been a lot of market movement for different reasons. You know, players playing well, like Messi and Mbappe, players playing poorly. We'll see some of those today. Players who aren't playing at all, like Fernando Tatis, we'll talk about. So there's plenty to talk about and sales to dig into. And we know that not every card is going up in price, just like not every card is going down in price. I think it'll be good to look at today and kind of see what's moving where and why. And hopefully you all can leave today with maybe having a little bit more insight on what those cards are that are moving in the market. What's up, John Sports Cards? How are you doing? Good to see you tonight. And we're going to start We're going to start tonight's episode briefly talking about the last night's PWCC Weekly Auction number 48. So there were some nice under $100 cards there that sold last night. And my favorite's Mbappe number 50 from 2021 Immaculate for $84. That is his second Immaculate card. I want to say so. It's not as like first Immaculate card from 2018, but still a nice card. SGC $9 under $100. That seemed like a nice buy. And Nate, that Boba Fett, someone got a nice deal. I missed that one actually.
Dude, that Boba Fett was a nice deal, and considering where he's at on the pantheon of offensive shortstops, I expect him to be the next. Whenever he hits free agency, he's going to get paid handsomely.
Considering Dansby Swanson got 7 years, 177 mil.
Yeah. Also, that Bryce Harper's number to like $7.99.
Oh, interesting. Refractor at $7.99. That's a very interesting card. And but that Boba Fett, for those listening on podcast, it's a 2020 Topps Chrome Variation Green Refractor rookie number of 99. That came out of Update Chrome or like the complete set of something.
Probably the complete set, right?
Okay, that's what I was thinking. If anyone knows for sure, please let us know in the comments. Blastoise or LeBron, Pokemon or all-time great basketball player, take your choice, but they pretty much sold for the same amount last night. A LeBron RPA from Exquisite number of 100, the sideways card, BGS 8 sold for $28,000. The first edition Blastoise PSA 10 sold for $27,600. It's different markets and obviously different buyers in each group, but still kind of crazy to see the differences there. But it also goes to show, everyone has their own enjoyments, and some people who collect basketball cards probably looks at it and thinks that is crazy. Why is someone buying Blastoise instead of LeBron? But remember, the same people buying LeBron is not buying Blastoise, and the same people buying Blastoise are not buying LeBron. So that's how it goes.
I just kind of like it because it's like top 2 player in his sport, NBA history, top 2 player in his sport in PGA history,
Tiger Woods
and Blastoise.
No, it is funny. It's good to look at. But I will not knock anyone for going after big items for the collection if they're a huge Pokemon fan. That's for sure. Nice job, Tim. Got Damian Mitchell a lot for cheap. Good to hear. Hope you enjoy that. Light the beam, people. You're not at the same time. So we're going to start off our market discussion today talking about this Mickey Mantle that sold this past weekend. So this right here is an SGC 5, and it sold on Golden on Saturday night. Sunday night. I think it's the 18th, or maybe it went into Sunday morning. One of the 2 nights, Saturday or Sunday, for $180,000 for an SGC 5. Now, of all the 5s, no matter PSA 5 or SGC 5, all time, this SGC 5 sold for the most. And these, they don't sell once a week, obviously, the 5 grades between SGC and PSA, but they sell every few months, so frequent enough to see the different market movements over time. So the fact that the most expensive 5 grade ever sold this weekend for $180,000 in the current market tells us something big. And everyone knows this theory. We're not doing any groundbreaking research here, other than looking at the different sales data, which isn't groundbreaking, I know. But the theory that eye appeal matters, and this shows it more than anything I've probably seen. Given that, first of all, this card's extremely well centered, so for $180,000, but that also matched a sale Nate, for an SGC 5 from May of
Oh,
Mickey
wow.
Mantle with a similar looking condition card. The other one was even possibly a little bit better. I saw someone say on Instagram in a comment they thought the other SGC 5 that I'll show you in a second looked like a 7. Obviously, I didn't show the back of the card, so maybe saying the back may have 5. But the fact is that eye appeal matters because you look at this the exact same week in a PSA 6.5 with clearly worse centering. Okay, I understand why it's valued less. I'm not saying that this should be valued the same or anything like that. It should be valued less with worse centering. PSA 6.5, $158,400 sold in the exact same weekend, and this is just a difference. I mean, in like what the cards are outside of the centering, because if I click a couple examples later, there's a 6.5 from SGC, so a whole grade and a half higher back in May that sold for less than the SGC 5 sold for this weekend. So this isn't a PSA or SGC grades these things differently necessarily. I'm sure they all grade with their own vintage standards and expertises, because both companies grade vintage at a high rate. But this 6.5 right here sold for like $23,000 less in SGC than the SGC 5 sold for this weekend. And the other one was from in May or August, Nate, I think, or does that say May? I can't tell. It's May or August, and it was owned by Mantle at one point, it says. So if we're talking about how much eye appeal matters, vintage collectors would rather spend $30,000 more to get a very well-centered copy than a grade and a half higher that was once owned by Mantle.
I'd much rather have the one owned by Mantle, to be fair.
to be fair, I think I would too. But I'm just trying to show the different comparisons in cards and grades here. And the market really determines the prices on these things, of course, based on the card, which I want to bring up too, because Nate, you made a point last night. You said, hey, a lot of times when I look at cards now, I don't really care about the grade. I'll buy it for what the card is at the value it is based on the grade, and I'm happy to have the card. Just like when we bought the BGS 8s last night from Tier 1 Soccer Autos. We got a really nice deal on the Davies at 120, and I just think that this is obviously a super high-end sector that we don't play in, and probably no one watching this stream, or maybe a few people watching the stream do. But it's just interesting to look at. And even the PSA 5 was 156K last May, I believe. So just want to give a little overview of that and show off some of that data. And speaking of SGC, since we're on the topic, as all or most of you know, we do run group submissions for SGC. I just want to point out really quick that our next SGC submission is coming up, due in hand by December 29th. SlabStox.com/grading is the place to go to grade your cards with us. If you ship them to us right now, they'll for sure get to us by the December 29th. It's $18 a card. They're getting graded in less than 5 business days right now, and then they get shipped back to us and turned back around to you. So I would love to see some people's cards, because we get a lot of really cool, different stuff every single submission, and it just keeps on getting better and better, the variety. All right, Nate, you want to lead us off with basketball here?
Yes, sir. So first off, foremost, I went and I looked at some big sales from the Golden auction that ended this weekend. Thought it'd be fun to look at some massive cards. And this ended, and I was actually keyed into this by none other than C-Bless on his Instagram account, so shout out. But this gold vinyl 101 BGS 9 sold for $80,000 December 18th, just the other night. And, just looking at it, it's like, that seems kind of low. I don't know if you agree with me, but it's just like 80,000 for a top 2 mid-tier set, right? Prism and Optic Select being the mid-tier sets, not National Treasures Flawless. That'd be top tier, right? And it seemed low to me, but I couldn't really, there was no other comps of this that I could find. But if you go to the next page.
Before you go to the next page,
okay,
I want to point out, because I think there is something kind of similar to what you're talking about, but maybe you didn't think to look up. So the Contenders Optic.
I did see that one.
You did see it?
I did, but I was like, I don't know what to make about Optic Contenders or Contenders Optic compared to this. I know it's a lot more expensive.
Yeah, so it's $240,000 for a 9.510. I just want to point out there's like 3 times the price, but remember that was February 1st, 2021. That was right in the midst of like the most expensive pricing history for sports cards, which is I understand why you left it out. But I just want to point that out really quick, that that is quite lower than that card, and this card's better than that,
and a better grade.
Better grade, but I think that this card's much better coming out of Optic. But here you go. I'll let you do your thing now.
But so the closest comp I could get was this black 101 BGS 9 that sold in February for $162,000 compared to 10 months later, the gold vinyl selling for 80,000. Now, I imagine, I could be wrong here, but I imagine basketball collectors probably prefer the black over the gold vinyl.
So that's a great debate, and if anyone's watching live and is a huge basketball card collector, first of all, we want to make sure we got some basketball information into this live stream since we know we don't cover it all the time, but want to be cognizant of that and get some more basketball card info out there. To me, basketball card collectors are obsessed with Prism Blacks, as we know, but
Yeah.
there is no gold vinyl or gold power in Prism, so it's hard to understand what the exact pricing difference
Which is
would
weird
be.
because it is for football.
It is for football and it is for soccer as well. So to that point, I don't know, but to me, I feel like that the optic gold vinyl auto 1/1 would be more sought after. Do you feel that way?
Well, okay, it depends. Are they coming over from baseball?
Yes.
You know?
Well, no. If they were, then yes.
If they're coming over from baseball, they definitely prefer the gold vinyl. If they're just straight basketball, I feel like they'd still prefer black.
That's probably true.
And so it's so hard to gauge here. What we can say is it was half the price of the black from February, and we know what the market's done since then. So maybe this is a realistic value considering the black's card letter value is 103,000 now.
And if this is perceived 20% less than the black 1/1, then we're right at $80,000. So it could be spot on. And remember, that's what the market said right now. Either way, to me, that gold vinyl looks so nice. Like honestly, that looks like such a good card.
It does. It really looks good. Imagine pulling that.
I know you wouldn't be mad about that.
I would not. Never. Never mad about any card I pull unless it's absolutely destroyed. But imagine pulling that and having that, because this is the first sale I can find of this card, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we think it was pulled within the last couple months?
No, I think it probably changed hands privately a few times. I'd find it hard to believe if this card wasn't at least sold once in the last 4 years.
So isn't that just like, whew, seeing it at 80,000 was probably tough for the person who sold this?
Because you assume that the peak price on auction would for sure sell for more than the Optic Contenders 9.5. In my mind, this is potentially in 2021 early a $400,000 card.
Yeah, and even if either way, whether it's switched hands privately multiple times, the person that's selling this is probably losing money. And if it hasn't switched hands multiple times and it wasn't pulled within the last 6 months, that would be brutal selling it now and being like, wow, what could I have sold it for in February last year or in October of 2021 or something like that?
Or glass half full, man, $80,000. I probably open a box for like $600 or less.
Fair.
I was trying to throw all perspectives out there, but understandably so. Yes, less than it was a year and a half ago. Either way, cool card.
Couple other big cards that sold. You can see here that BGS 9.5 with three 9.5s and a 9 sold on Golden for 28,800. Same card, but different subgrades. 3 9.5s and a 9, but different areas the subgrades were at. Sold for 43,200 September 22nd. So,
and I was just gonna say, basketball collectors and RPA collectors often point out how much the patches matter on the cards. Mm-hmm. Something's going down outside. Sorry about that. You keep talking. I'm gonna mute this for a second.
Yeah, that's very loud. And yes, the patch on the Giannis that sold for $43,000 is significantly nicer. Is it $15,000 nicer? If anybody says it's $15,000 nicer, I would like to sell them a timeshare or something.
I would have to agree with you too. All the patches nice and nicer. $15,000 is quite a bit different. I hope that we still have the best record in the NBA after we play tonight.
1 second.
Let's see. We do. We play Pelicans tonight. Yes. That'll be an exciting game. Although I will be watching the Packers game as that'll be broadcasted here, obviously in New York on ESPN. So we'll see what happens there. But I want to point out this one. Let me rip this quick and give your take because I saw this in the presentation. And I was like, holy smokes. So we had a 2018 flawless Trae Young logo man raw 1/1 rookie. Nope. That actually sold as a BGS 9.5 on July 11th. The title says BGS 9.5. The picture is just a raw. I don't know why that's the case.
Is it
Either way,
actually a BGS 9.5?
what do you say?
Is it actually?
I assume so. Look at it. It says BGS 9.5 in the title.
Why is the picture raw?
Because there's a chance that there's two different pictures added to the listing, and then it just pulled in that one.
Oh.
Let me look this up quick. I don't want to misspeak.
Regardless if it's BGS 9.5 or raw, it's a terrible drop in price.
Yeah.
If it was raw, it'd be significantly worse.
By the way, it was a 9.5. I looked at the listing. I'm not sure why the raw card popped up, but it was a 9.5. So for $94,000, July 11th, 2021, with this Trae Young non-auto logo man, most recently yesterday, $21,600 minus 71 grand. And we looked at the John Morant that maintained priced in the same time frame, 140K to like 144K. The Zion dropped. We didn't see what the Zion sold for before, but the Zion recently sold for 37,000, which, by the way, was a mega steal. That was before he went on his crazy stretch. If he can stay healthy, that was a crazy steal compared to like this Trae Young at 21.6, John Morant at 144. But anyway, you slice it up, this is a big drop.
You know what's kind of fun is you look at a lot of cards, and if you can look at them before 2020 and after, they're kind of in line with it, and you could just pretend that 2020 and 2021 didn't exist. You can't do that with stuff like this, where the first sale was July 11th, 2021.
Yeah.
So you can only compare it to that, and when you can only compare it to that,
yeah.
tough scene.
If anyone watching right now has any thoughts on this Trae Young, let us know what your thoughts are. $94,000 obviously last year is a close to peak market pricing, which obviously we know wouldn't hold until today. But 21,600, is that a smart buy for someone who can afford it? Is it just Trae Young? Maybe isn't the guy to that Hawks run to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Bucks was maybe a little lucky when you don't have to contend with a really good Celtics team. Or a Sixers team that didn't have James Harden. Not saying the Sixers are going to be great this year, but I just feel like that for the Hawks to get back there, Nate, or even close to the championship, it's like nearly impossible. I don't understand what all these noises are. I'm in a hotel and the phone's ringing.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, let me go answer it quick. I don't know. One second.
All right. Well, while he's answering that, we're going to move on. Another big card here, De'Aaron Fox, BGS 9. I thought this was interesting because like Tim Giants fan, or Tim San Francisco Giants brought up David Mitchell. He's a Kings fan, and he knows how well the Kings are doing, and De'Aaron Fox is doing and leading that team. And yet, December 21st, 2020, you could have bought this card in a BGS 9, same exact card, 3 out of 5, but BGS 9 instead of PSA 9 for $6,766. The estimated card ladder value today is $3,158, which means that this December 18th PSA 9 sale, which somebody changed it from a BGS 9 to a PSA 9 because the same card, sold for $4,560. So regardless of what you think the difference between PSA 9 and BGS 9 is, Card Ladder had it valued $1,400 under what it sold at. So while the price is down from its last sale, considering what Card Ladder valued it at, pretty healthy sale.
Hey, I'm back, dude. Let me ask you this: have you ever been in a hotel room that has like an inline phone? Like, I'm not talking about like the hotel room where you like click to call the front desk. This is legit like you take the handheld off the desk or off the stand. It's like a legit phone.
Interesting. I don't think so.
Morgan Stanley just started calling this hotel. Like, it's so random. I don't know.
So weird.
Hey, super off topic.
Super off topic. Let's get back to this De'Aaron Fox here real quick, because we've got a BG. They're both number 3 out of 5. So somebody changed the grade from a BGS 9 to a PSA 9.
I see that.
It's obviously down, but Card Ladder valued it significantly lower than what it sold for. So big win for this card, or
I'd say that this proves a very good point that not all cards do this because it's hard to know on auction, but the fact that this is clearly a premium card, having a cool sponsored logo patch like that, a PSA 9 better value grade than a BGS 9, can outperform an overall market that includes Silver Prism PSA 10s, Red Wave PSA 10s, whatever you want to bring up. So I think this was a good sale for the card, being $1,500 more than the projected value. But remember, those card layer estimated values are based off of De'Aaron Fox index. And given that at December 21st, 2021 was one of probably 2 to 3 all-time highs, it was like Silver Prism PSA 10s. It's obviously going to show a way worse value than what this actually got at auction. But still a good sale, I think,
Is
in this type of market for
isn't it
basketball cards.
crazy how you can get a NTRPA with a patch like that of a player who's having a very good year, and you can find any number of rookie out of 99s from this year that sell for more than that?
Yeah, it is quite crazy. It is quite crazy. I mean, I'm sure we could do a whole stream of different
How,
random examples like that.
how much does Franz Wagner sell for?
He was one of the guys I was thinking of. Let's see. Give me a second. 34.50 was the last sale in a PSA 8. 34.50 in a PSA 8.
Okay, so not quite the same price, but you get the point.
I get the point.
Yeah. All right, moving on real quick. We've got Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and I guess I should move on real quick.
I was gonna say, yeah, we definitely need to speed this up a bit more.
Shea, Emerald also out of 5, BGS 9.5 has sold multiple times in the last 6 months. Once on August 15th, and you can see I can't see the price because the slide thing is in the way there.
It's like $82,000, I think.
And then, oh wait, no, I can see the price. I'm an idiot. I couldn't see the
87
starting price, $15,000, current price $87,000. Just goes to show you that sometimes the bold, which buying this card for $15,000 in August would have been very bold, sometimes it pays off. Significantly
paid off in a big way. Monster payoff.
On the smaller side of payoffs, but still cool. You could have bought Bull on September 21st, 2022, a Prism Silver PSA 10 for $20, and you could be selling it for $96 today.
That's crazy, isn't man? That's like the kind of like the Jimmy Garoppolo thing again. Multiple lives, 3 different times in the increasing market.
On the flip side, we've got a couple of 2020 Prism guys here. LaMelo Ball Hyper, that is down 63% in the last couple months here, 2 months really. And then Anthony Edwards Blue Wave Prism PSA 9 down significantly, 70% from 308 to 91.
So I don't know how much. I know you're really into reading articles and stuff. I don't know how much you pay attention to like lists like for NBA purposes. But do you see the Ringer's top 100 basketball player list?
Mm-mm.
So first of all, they left Bobby Portis out of the top 100 and have guys like Kelly Olynyk and John Collins in the back of the top 100, and they're like, yeah, John Collins, like he's got double potential. It's like Bobby Portis
is doing that every day.
Off the bench too. But my point is not that. Is that Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball were both left out of the top 25 NBA players, and also like not only left out of the top 25, I think they're down in like the 40s or something like that. I'm not saying every single card collector obviously reads that list, but I feel like the market trends are kind of like, hey, these guys aren't immediately top 20 guys like people were maybe hoping or expecting to be. Yeah. So like the prices have kind of came back down to reality of like what it takes to wait a couple of years for these guys to hit that, which I think both are excellent players. I think LaMelo needs to get healthy, obviously, for like a good stretch to have his market come back. But I think it's just kind of showing how hyped people can come out of sets with the expectations so high right away.
And especially, these guys are everybody that invests in these guys, especially these guys came out in 2020, 2021 at the peak of the card market. Like there's nowhere to go for these guys considering how hot the card market was.
Yeah, and it's yet to be known, so don't like spend much money if you can't or don't feel comfortable. But maybe like we look 6 months or a year from now and these guys turn around their seasons and stuff, and like this was the right point to buy in when there is some stability to it. Although we're not really at a stability point yet for them potentially. Anthony Edwards might get there here soon, but just watch it if you're a basketball card collector, I guess is what I'm trying to say. All right, moving on to soccer. I'll be pretty quick here because everyone we talked about last night a little bit. The World Cup final. I don't need to recap the game for everyone. Amazing game. Messi cards since yesterday morning. 1,360 different Messi cards. That is a huge number.
And that may have shifted since the last time you looked this up.
I looked this up at like 2 o'clock Eastern time today
Could
or
be
something like that.
1,400.
Yeah. So 1,360 different Messi cards sold since yesterday. Of course, a lot of people were probably planning on their auctions ending on Sunday night of the World Cup final. So it's not a massive surprise to see that many sell. But the biggest of them was a $14,400 gold refractor number 50 PSA 10 sale last night in the weekly auction. PWCC, massive sale, increased over $1,000 in like 9 days from this other pop two of this card, which is
Increased
nuts.
increased like $7,000 in 10 months or 11 months.
I couldn't. Are you sure about that?
Yeah, positive.
You remember last time when I was looking, I couldn't find any other sale. You're sure you weren't looking at the PSA 6? Because there was a PSA 6 that sold for $7,900 on January 20th.
Oh, it was. Ooh, you know what that means?
Yeah, you gotta switch something up. Good
All
thing I am post yet. All good. But Julian Alvarez, I 1 second here. I was gonna say young player of the tournament. Yeah, okay, this is garbage. So Enzo Fernandez won young player of the tournament for Argentina. I don't see it. He had a great goal against Argentina, but Julian Alvarez for sure should have won in my mind. Massive stuff against Croatia and played a really high energy all yesterday. Either way, looking at 82 different sales since yesterday morning, but remember he only has like 2022 Prism World Cup cards and a couple other like stickers and stuff. So the volume is so much lower because there's so many less cards made. Still, 82 sales is cool. Top sale being this green Pulsar number 5 from Breakaway. So for 2,125, that's a big number. Nice sale right there as a raw card. Emiliano Martinez, the goalkeeper, who had a fantastic final for Argentina, 47 sales, which is a ton for a keeper since yesterday morning, including this patch auto number 16 that sold for $270 from 2020 Immaculate. And that increased 3 times in price since April. So big moments leads to big increases in a big match like that. And I guess the slide got deleted out on accident, but I looked up and saw how many cards of Emmy Martinez sold since December 1st. It was like 110. So almost half of them in December happened since yesterday, Nate.
Wow.
And remember, Prism World Cup release. So probably the first 50 of the month were all those just from people ripping packs and selling them, on auction or something like that. So crazy movement there. Kylian Mbappe over 750 sales, probably closer to 1,000 by the time this live stream is happening. Maybe not closer to 1,000, but at least over 800. And the biggest of them was a BGS 10 pristine 2016 foot rookie for 25 grand. I tried to look it up. No public history on previous auctions for this BGS 10 pristine sticker. 25 grand it sold for last night through the PWCC vault. What's up, Global? How are you doing? While I'm moving, anyone who's watching and wants to chime in, if they were selling Mbappe, if they were selling Messi last night, were you running auctions? Did you buy some stuff? Were you super hyped up about Messi winning or super hyped up about Mbappe's hat trick, and that he's now going to very likely break the World Cup goal scoring record next tournament? Let us know what you were doing in the chat if you were doing anything. If you're just sitting there and enjoying the match, enjoying tonight's stream, all good, but I'm just curious if anyone has any experience. And here's some Messi trends. So $550 for that blue wave of 199 that Nate pointed out last night. In the last 10 days, that increased like some 200% or something like that, or something that's like $150 card just 10 days ago. And then we were talking last night about the 2022 World Cup cards versus the 2018. And I want to look at the Silver Prisms PSA 10s, but those are moving to $350 for the Prism Silver PSA 10, up 132% in 10 days. Technically, spending money on the new 2022 stuff would have been smarter 10 days ago, but the 2018 stuff is moving as well. And I wanted to mention really quick, there's been over 500 different 2022 Prism, not 2022, or 500 different Prism cards of Messi sell since yesterday, which means that almost half of them, or maybe 30% of them, 33% of them, were Prism cards, Nate.
Wow.
Yeah, so
not from 2022 though, just any year.
But 2014, 18, and 2022, but still a third of them being one set.
The real question is how many of them were Merlin?
That's possible, but actually Prism, when you spell it with Merlin, you spell it with an S. So unless someone's nope, just kidding. Hey, guess who subtracted out Tops from that search?
Good choice.
Definitely. And for some cheaper cards, so his raw silver sold for $50 6 days ago. Multiple were selling for 125 yesterday and 150. So that is a price that I would say sell at. Those are going to go down pretty quickly, probably if they're $50 6 days ago. So sell if you got them. And then a PSA 9 purple of 199 sold for 1,300 on December 18th yesterday. The raw sold for 265 a week ago. No, sorry, 13 days ago.
You know what? You know what I'm kind of salty about?
What?
So in my case, I pulled a purple Ronaldo, I pulled a blue Neymar, I pulled a red Mbappe, but the guy I managed to not pull any of, Messi.
No Messi. I pulled a silver Messi. I've not pulled a color. No, maybe I pulled a red Messi, I think. I pulled one color Messi. And then the last thing here for soccer before we get on to, I believe it's football, Holland's PSA 9s. Nate did a great job and is actually going to highlight this tomorrow in the Daily Slab, so I won't spoil all of it. Either way, my point here is that you want to look at his market and see how it's doing since the World Cup was going. And this is just one card, remember, but, down 39% on a PSA 9 Sapphire. Rookie, as people expected. No games for Holland. Some cards go down in value. We'll see what happens when the Premier League comes back. And I guess I did spoil it all in about a 10-second sentence right there.
Shame. I know your name. All right, moving on to the other football, the one that has the Packers and the Rams playing tonight. But we had, again, showcasing some big sales from the Golden auction this last weekend. And this is a little bit of a shocker. 10-10, quote unquote, eBay 1 of 1 right there. BGS 9 gold from 2019 selling for $4,500 just 3 days earlier on the PWCC Premier auction. A PSA 9, I get it, it's not a BGS 9, it's a PSA 9, sold for $1,500 more. Same card, not the 10-10, so not a jersey number or anything like that. $1,500 more PSA 9 compared to BGS 9.
I mean, it's impossible to have a jersey number for the 12 or 10.
I know. I know. Sometimes it's like, well, why is that card so much more? Oh, jersey number. Okay. You can't have that. So, like, realistically, like, the best you can do is, like, people love the 10 out of 10 thing, right? That's why they put it on there. And it's still sold for $1,500 less than the PSA 9 did 3 days earlier.
Crazy. Wild. Baseball Brownie. Hello, guys. I watched the best World Cup game in my lifetime, and I like both Mbappe and Messi. Congrats to Messi for his final accomplishment on his resume. Bring on 2026 in USA. And Baseball Brownie, I could not be more excited for 2026 World Cup, and I definitely want to attend a match and figure out how to do so. Crazy.
Watch Messi and Argentina be back in 2026.
Well, Messi has said that going into it was going to be his last World Cup appearance. However, he wins Copa America 2024. Who's to say he doesn't go for the quad? That would be 4 tournaments in a row winning the final. That'd be insane.
That would be.
That'd just be crazy.
I mean, these guys always say that, and then Tom Brady retires and unretires within like a month. So
yeah, and I don't know if you knew this at one point, and I'm pretty sure this is fact. If I'm wrong, someone correct me. Maybe Baseball Brownie. I think Messi retired from international play after 2016, and then came back out of retirement. I think based on the manager change, but I don't know if that is fact or not. So, like Nate said, guys switched up their mind all the time.
And of course, he could look like Ronaldo has looked
and
as he gets older,
and he might want to, he'll find out pretty quickly in 2024 Copa America if it's going to be worth, the next 2 years to try to play in the World Cup. But if you did see what Ronaldo, happened with him, maybe it's like a legacy protector. But it's also it would be a 6th World Cup, and Ronaldo was in 5. Just the age difference, 2-year age difference between them is unfortunate for Ronaldo to not get that World Cup at 35 or 36 versus 38. But we'll see.
Yep. Josh Allen, black. So what's weird is this is black, not emerald, like NBA. Threw me off when I was looking it up. Like I just saw 5 out of 5, and I went to look up emerald Josh Allen, and nothing was popping up. And I'm like, what? I have to go back and look closer. But this PSA 8 sold $99,000 on Golden July 16th. Same card, same exact card. 66,000 December 18th. So, 5 months later, just about 5 months and 2 days, it sold for $33,000 less dollars.
And what do we learn about this?
The market is going down.
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of obvious, but I was going to point out selling before the season begins, even if players have a good to moderate season, um, is a better choice in most cases. Now, you could miss out on the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander movement. That might be something you miss, but
Mm-hmm.
remember that's maybe what, one in every 30 players or less,
Yeah.
one in every 50. And also I would say there's a time where there were certain cards that were going up quicker in price than others, and National Treasures RPAs are probably one of them.
And then
Oof.
the last big card that I wanted to talk about, and the worst, and the exact same card again. January 8th on Golden, $102,000. December 18th, so almost a year later, not quite a year later, a couple weeks less than a year later, $39,600.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about Justin Herbert, best young quarterback in the game. Um, Everyone wanted him, had to have him, and this is what happened.
I gotta
Like
say,
if you were buying that card, back then you were like, this is a risk, but it's also like, I really believe in the talent. Their team is 8-6 now, I believe, after the win against Tennessee. It's not like he's done anything to be like destroy his value that much, and yet here we are.
and this is a Prism Gold Vinyl auto number .5 BGS 9.5. And the interesting thing about this card is that the black one of this card sold in the BGS 9 on the PWCC Premier about a week ago or less than a week ago,
Oh,
and sold for it was $132,000, which is just barely more than what the out of 5 one sold for. And I guess that this once again, proves the point that buying up the young guys, while it seems, sometimes it works out really well, other times it cannot. Now, if you weren't the one that bought for $102,000, but you bought for $39,000, I'm
feeling
not going to
pretty
say
good
that
right now.
yeah, I'm not going to say you're going to make money at some point, but you got to be at least be a little bit happy with that. Like that's the lowest that's ever been.
It's just one of those things where I think we're all seeing, and I think we've all known, but now we're all seeing that all of these young guys were just completely overvalued, drastically so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I kind of like what you brought up. Maybe you brought up last night or I did, but it's like 4 years ago, you could buy in a good young player for pretty affordable dollars. As soon as 2018, when the cards were releasing, not really come 2019 or 2020, but as soon as 2018, when the cards were releasing, and I think we're going to get back to that pretty soon, where it does provide a lot less risk for people. I think it's going to help bring out more sustainability in the hobby, in my mind.
Now let's see those wax prices go down with it.
And right, and I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, we haven't seen that drop." And I will say, Panini really needs to start dropping their prices on their own website, but secondary market prices, I have definitely been dropping a bit on wax. So there's just no question
I just
about
want to
that.
see like $50 boxes again. I want to go walk into a shop and be able to buy a $50 box of something that's decent, not Topps Big League.
You definitely need to understand that the inflation in general won't let us get back to $50 boxes, just like how because like
Oh, you never know. You never know.
well, I'm just saying, like with the manufacturing costs and all the different distribution costs and all that stuff now, not distribution for sports cards. I like distributors. I'm not talking about that. But I just think that it's. I'm not saying we won't see lower prices. My thoughts is that they will still be a little bit more than before if we do see lower
Okay,
prices.
that's fine, but I want my Topps flagship boxes to be under $100 and by a decent margin.
We'll see. We'll have to watch. We'll be on flagship alert, and we'll alert when Nate's happy.
Yeah. All right.
Justin Jefferson. I'm gonna
Yeah.
take this one. Justin
Ooh.
Jefferson. NTRPA raw. I double checked because when you see a rise like this in a couple 3 months, you say, oh, it was one patch, a logo patch, $1,000 to $2,500. No, they're basically the exact same patch. $1,000 to $2,500 on his raw RPA 99. Dude's bowling out. It's tough if you're buying Jamar Chase versus Justin Jefferson at the same time, because Chase stuff basically looks inverted of this, going down from like $4,000
Yeah, of
RPA.
course, he got injured and Justin Jefferson didn't.
Yeah,
Right.
that helps. That helps too, or helps Jefferson's case. And it's just crazy, man. The guy, he's obviously very good. I'm sure he's going to break Vikings career records if they lock him up because Randy Moss was on the move.
Last year, I wasn't ready to say Devontae Adams or Jefferson was better than Devontae Adams, which I don't think he was last year. The difference a year makes. There's no doubt. Even if the Packers still had Devontae Adams on their team, there's no doubt that Justin Jefferson was the best wide receiver in the NFL.
And I know you just said that, but I'll also say the difference that Derek Carr makes too in the Raiders versus Aaron Rodgers.
True. But still, I don't think healthy Devontae Adams would be putting up the numbers that Justin Jefferson is this year.
Yep. 2021 Prism Silver, Zach Wilson. I realize that you're probably going to speak about this, but 71% drop. Big drop.
There's not much to speak on. We all know why he got benched, and we see the drop in price. Just the risk of buying into young quarterbacks, like every other young player we've seen on this list.
Mm-hmm. However, he did start on Sunday and lost by 3 points to the Lions. So he actually didn't.
Ooh, that's respectable considering the Lions started 1-6 and are now 7-7.
Yeah, so he had like one interception, which was a terrible throw, but other than that, it looked like his stat line was okay. But yeah, I mean, at least he got back on the field. Mike Way will probably be cleared, I'm assuming, for next week, and we'll see if Zach Wilson hits the bench again, which is possible. And Magic did get a Justin Jefferson SGC 10 field level silver. They graded with us, and hope you good luck on the sale. I mean, good time to sell for sure.
Yeah,
Magic.
And then we've got Kyler. Obviously, disappointing season from him, stat wise. Disappointing season from the team, record wise. And now with an ACL injury, that's going to keep him out for a chunk of next year. Also, prices are sliding, and you can see that. Now, this was probably a little bit before the ACL injury, but imagine what it would be post ACL injury now from 4,000, just disappointing season with no ACL injury down to 1,268. The next one to sell with the ACL injury in play, I am curious to see where it goes.
Mm-hmm. I want to bring up a comment from Need him, got him. Am I the only one who has little interest in parallels of players that have a million cards on the market? Even that Brady Gold does nothing for me. You are not the only one. Nate is definitely that boat, and so am I. There's definitely, and I was going to bring this up about the Anthony Edwards Blue Wave. That's like a T-Mall card. There's just so much product that was getting put out there between 2820 and even now in some cases. We're going to find out very fast which parallels and cards do not matter and which ones are overvalued. And I think we're already seeing that with like that Edwards Blue Wave.
Yeah, I didn't care about like the two of those. He brings up the Tom Brady. It does nothing for me either, but I know people love their goals.
Mm-hmm.
So I bring it up. I brought up the Anthony Edwards because it was kind of in a similar vein of the hyper LaMelo I had highlighted, where it's non-numbered but different than a silver or a base.
Yeah, got you. All right, on to some hockey. So, points leaders in the NHL this season. I got to say, like, man, Connor McDavid, he's crazy. He's crazy good. 62 points already on the season.
The wide world is Jason Robertson.
So you say that. Well, we've spoken about Jason Robertson before. Even you didn't. You spoke about Tage Thompson.
Yes.
Jason Robertson is the guy that I posted the graph on, man. He went crazy. I think I texted you on him for sure. He had like that. Yeah, I did. I said it in November. He had 26 points in the month. He had like, no, I for sure sent you a text to him. He's the biggest hockey trender this entire season. I actually have his graph up first, I think, and I'll show it. But Connor McDavid's leading, and we've played. Oh, come on, show me the stats. I think Google just show me the stats. It was like 40-some games so far. 32 games. Only 32 games. He's got 62 points. 62 points in 38 games, which is crazy. Best player in the age. 32 games, not 38. Leon Draisaitl, his teammate.
Does it help that Drysdale is right there with him? Like, is he just getting a ton of goals because Drysdale's giving him a ton of assists? Or
Drysdale, not Drysdale.
Whatever.
I can't comment on the sharing of points between the two of them, but anytime you play with another really darn good player, you elevate each other. So I think both are super talented, and there's no reason to try to discount them for playing together. It's just they're loaded on offense and attack. We talked about that in previous episodes. And Tage Thompson and Jason Robertson are the two biggest, not really out of nowhere for Jason Robinson, but Tage Thompson definitely a huge season. And then goals, McDavid's got 28 also, so it's not like he's just racking up like 50 assists. He's scoring a ton of goals. 50 assists would be insane. He's got 28 goals leading the NHL. So big.
And was Tage the guy that had 5 in a game?
Yes, Tage had 4 in the first period.
Yeah.
Robertson's Young Guns PSA 10. I posted on this one probably like 3 weeks ago. Increased from $200 before the season starting all the way up to 700 at the height.
Wow.
I think that we posted on it was probably at like 400, 425, and pointed out that the PSA population of this card, I feel like is for sure going to increase because there was like 3 times the amount of Alexis Lafreniere, who's in the same series as Jason Robertson for Young Guns. There's many more PSA 10s of him because his cards were always more sought after. Now Robertson's are. So I do feel like that more supply is going to find its way into the market. So I wasn't surprised if this does drop down to like, $400 again. I mean, I honestly didn't think it'd get up to 700, and it did. So that's crazy.
Dude, if you would have
But
told me before the season that this dude's PSA 10 Young Guns was going for 225, I'd have been flabbergasted.
see, but you don't
Mainly
know
because I didn't know who he was, but like usually I feel like I've heard of like the top hockey talents where I can like be like, yeah, that makes sense that it's that expensive. Having never heard of this guy, and also between you and me, pretty boring name. I would just been like, what in the world? What am I missing here?
you mean his name isn't Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl, two fun names?
Yeah.
He is 23 years old, Nate. He was a second round pick in 2017. So it took him a while to get into the NHL from when he was drafted. But he's still only 23. He's from Michigan. So he is an American, which does help quite a bit, I'd say. I know Canadians obviously have most of the great players and the big prices, but that is cool that he's an American and hopefully see him playing well for Team USA and everything like that. But he hasn't scored in the last 5 games. So we know what happens when players are freaking hotter than the Earth's core. Cool
People
down.
start game planning for him too.
Yep, exactly. But the prices start to drop quite a bit. That is not, he was on like a 7-goal in 5-game stretch or like a 9-goal in 5-game stretch. 0 goals in 5 games, very different.
Try 5 goals in 1 game and then get back to me.
Yeah, he's not Tage Thompson. Alex Ovechkin, PSA 10 Young Guns, 5,200 or 5,500, about up to 6,000 now. It's been pretty flat over the last 3 months. However, I gotta say, a flat card over the last 3 months is much better than a card that's down 30% over the last 3 months. Guy's 800th goal, and he needs to play about 2 to 3 more seasons and stay on nice pace to pass Gretzky. Now, he's 37 already, but, Jaromir Jagr played for forever, well in his 40s. Actually,
wasn't he like 46?
I was going to say like approaching 50, I think.
47?
Which is crazy. All right, he's 50 right now, and he retired at least a few years ago. Yeah, he was like 45 or 46. So I mean, Ovechkin, I think
he was a wannabe Jamie Moyer. Am I right?
Who's that?
You have no idea who Jamie Moyer is. Jamie Moyer was like a pitcher that was just kind of like pretty good to average for most of his career, and then you look up and he's pitching at the age of 49 for the Rockies.
That's crazy. That's nuts. Last hockey card here, Connor McDavid. This is the autographed debut threads. Number out of 10, BGS 8 with the 10 auto, December 18th, $6,300. That was just last night, actually. $2,024 for a BGS 9 back in 2020 in August. So while that is, 2020 prices, I think it's late enough in 2020 to show like, hey, McDavid's market and the hockey market has come a long way since 2020, while a lot of basketball cards look the opposite. This worst grade BGS 8 sold for like almost 3 times the price that it did back in late 2020.
Hey, real quick, I just looked him up. Jamie Moyer, first season, 1986. Last season, 2012. He both was old enough to have started before Barry Bonds and Mark McGuire got their rookie cards, and old enough to be pitching after Mike Trout got his rookie card.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
All right, baseball. A little highlight for you. So showing this off just to show you that sometimes when you sell is very, very, and by sometimes I mean all the time, when you sell is very, very important, because you're looking at a BGS 10 black label of a Bowman Chrome Red from 2013 for Aaron Judge that sold for $16,000 December 18th. Now, his BGS 9.5 sold for $7,200. I would expect a BGS 10 black label to sell for significantly more than double of what a BGS 9.5 does. But then you see his PSA 9 in October selling for $11,000. So you're only getting $5,600 more for the black label than the PSA 9 in October. And And it's just one of those things where the person that bought this card, you know, if they bought it, there's the next slide will show a black label that I'm not 100% sure was paid for.
I looked into it too because $70,000 just seems ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But that's right around when the biggest hype was, right?
Yes, but it was a probe scene auction where the winning bidder had 200 reviews, and the person that bid it up significantly from like 40,000 to 70,000 was a 3 review bidder.
And I think that's pretty fair to say that 40,000 seems like it might be the correct number, given what his other cards have done.
Yeah.
Either way, it still shows a huge drop.
Either way, it's a massive drop, and so that's why I didn't lead with this one, because I led with the, you know, specifically the PSA 9 at 11,000 in October compared to 16,000 for a BGS 10 black label today. Like, I mean, $5,000 more between that. That's insanity. If you would have sold this card 2 months ago, even if it's not 70,000, 40,000, so much better.
Definitely. I agree. What's going on here with Mike Trout?
So I just wanted to highlight, I've been highlighting a lot of cards that were dropping. So I wanted to highlight one card in the golden auction that was actually a reasonable price. And that's this Mike Trout PSA 10 Diamond Anniversary that on December 18th sold for $6,600, December 10th sold for $6,600, December 4th sold for $5,880. So just the, you know, it was the last 3 sales, and it was actually reasonable as opposed to massive drops all over the place. So that's the only reason I put it in there. A little bit of positivity, you could say.
Yep, I agree.
And then I wanted to showcase, we've got 3 different Fernando Tatis cards here, because there's always some interesting debate on when is the time to buy Fernando Tatis. Should you buy Fernando Tatis? Would you buy Fernando Tatis because of the PDs and, you know,
I gotta say, before going through this, we did buy one Tatis card to get in on the action to see if it bounces back. $200 museum on card auto.
We did. And as you can see here, there's starting to be a little bit of movement. In October, November, December time. This is in November. X Factor moving up from 85 to 190. Questionable if, you know, the 190 was the best offer, so you never know on these things, but put it in there anyways. If you want to we'll go through the next 2 real quick. Same thing here with the Tatis Topps Update rookie debut gold, up a decent chunk there from 31 to 90 in 3 months, and then, or a month and a half, I guess. And then the Sapphire here that was in 2 months up 72% from 326 to 565.
I added one more, the PSA 10 X Factor over the last 3 months, because I just want to check it out, because like those raws and that PSA 9 look really good. The increase, I'm like, is that really like the market, you know? And it's PSA 10 and 9 of this X Factor. It's like flat right now. So I think in some scenarios, you know, you see some cards going up in price, but in general, like I said about Ovechkin, flat market is better than a down market, and it's stable, which I do think.
Honestly, I like seeing it flat.
Seriously, I do think that people were waiting to see when would that kind of bottom come. For now, it's here. I'm not saying there won't be more drops in the early January, but what, Nate, he's out for 40 games come next season?
Yeah, he's out for a chunk. I don't know how many exactly,
so
but
I think it's 2 months.
I think he's going to be back. I think he's out from April and most of May, or a decent chunk of May.
So let's see if Needham got him right. Tatis without steroids is 250 and 25 homer potential.
I am going to say I don't disagree with his prediction of Aaron Judge missing 4 months. Aaron Judge has missed a lot of games. I will disagree with this. I don't think Tatis is using steroids to become a better baseball player. I think it was because he's probably trying to get healthy.
Is that like Ryan Braun?
Like Ryan Braun and other guys that get popped. And there's plenty of guys that come back popped from steroids, and wouldn't you know it, amazing still. David Ortiz was popped for steroids, or admitted to steroids or whatever, and then didn't take them and had his best season at age 40. So like, just because a guy got popped for steroids doesn't mean his numbers are automatically going to go plummeting.
And let's see what happens. I think it'll be fun to break that down. And Kendall pointed out, and Nate will talk about this in the Daily Slab they'll release on Wednesday. 1 of 1 Mbappe was pulled. Nate will show you which card in 2 days. But I took the picture from the one that he posted on the table, not the one that of him pulling in the car with the thumb and the leg in the picture.
Dude, I don't even know how he drove home.
I
Like,
would
I would have been, like, shaking, nervous, like, just absolutely, like, sweating if I had pulled a one-of-one Mbappe from a blaster box.
I don't know if I could have drove home. I might have to call someone to come drive me home.
Yeah.
Last thing here, Formula One will end it on. I want to point out a couple sales of some Formula One cards. So PSA 10 Sapphire, Lewis Hamilton in the last 3 months is down 44%. It's down a lot more since the beginning of last season. First of all, some of this has to do with just market getting super overhyped and super priced up. I'm in a short amount of time, a lot of buyers at one specific time, and the overall collecting base just is not as big. So the people who, like myself, who are buying cards, I was chasing much of Pierre Gasly. You take those buyers out of the market, and once they get satisfied, and those prices just end up coming down if there's not more mouths to feed constantly. And that, I think, is what happened. But we'll see. I think that's something that can benefit Formula One is the season getting tighter, hopefully next season. And hopefully in the seasons to come, I think the new regulations are going to prove a lot of teams can fight at the top. Yeah, Nate.
I would just like to really give a real quick pat on the back to myself, because a lot of times the last couple of years it was like, not you specifically, you were just pure Gasly through and through. But I watched a lot of people like, chase. Oh, F1's hot, I gotta chase it. Yeah, this is hot, I gotta chase it. UFC's hot, I gotta chase it. And you see what these kind of chase things have done since then. Sometimes it's nice to have just stuck with baseball and called it a day and been like, you know what? Maybe you could do some damage chasing these other sports, but also if you just stick to what you know, it's just kind of nice to then when you see the other side be like, whew, I'm glad I didn't do that.
And I would say that first off, Formula One's still up a lot from when it started. The popularity is astronomically higher than the start of the 2021 season and when the cards released. And I do think that there's going to be long-term excitement about Formula One cards. I do think that it really needs to have multiple teams fighting at the top. We cannot just have another year of Max Verstappen like winning 90% of the races.
And more teams. I really do think that there needs to be more racers.
You're saying more than 20 drivers on the grid at a time?
Yes.
We'll see. I mean, I know that Andretti's talking about getting a team, and Ford was throwing their name out there for potentially being an automaker or a car maker or engine maker. Really, was
I'm
what
surprised Ford's not in it.
I can't remember if at one point they weren't in it or not, but I think getting Audi into the fold as a brand is going to help a lot, and I think adding another team would be big to even have two more drivers and have another team in there, more cards, more rookies, and everything like that.
Yeah.
Now, gold 50 PSA 8. Lewis Hamilton wave, not true gold wave, $8,100 May 21st. That was definitely around the Superfractor PSA 7 that sold for $900,000. That PSA gold wave 50 recently sold yesterday for $3,400, so it's well over a 50% drop. Nice card too. And then I want to point this one out because this is a personal experience here. So this is a PSA 8 numbered out of 10 Dynasty patch auto of Pierre Gasly, of course. This is the driver I collect, my favorite driver, my brother's favorite driver, and super happy with his move to Alpine. But bought this PSA 8 numbered out of 10 for I think it was $1,400 to $1,500 in May. It was maybe in April actually. It was probably in April or March. Now I think about it. Either way, got it for $1,400 to $1,500. And last night I did get the one of one also, and that did come in March. So no, this did not come in May. This came in definitely in maybe April. But either way, my point is this: out of 5, super sick patch. By the way, that is a sick patch, man. I was able to scoop this for $721. I think that says last night. So I spent about 50% of the money on the out of 5 of the same pose with a better patch. It's raw, and the auto does go off the card a bit into the patch. Thanks, Pierre. But it's a nasty card, and I took the advantage of the market dropping a lot to add a sick card to my collection. This completes the rainbow, as now I have the one of 1, the out of 5, and the out of 10 of the smile face. And I'm super pumped about that. This is the first Pierre card I've bought in quite some time, as actually this was probably one of the last cards I was looking to buy because I love building rainbows. I'm very close to the Mason Mount rainbow as well. It's just as fun for me. I love looking at all the cards and having the chase of trying to find them all. This didn't pop up ever. I think this might have been the first sale of this card ever. Numbered out 5 with the smile face, or at least a public sale. So I couldn't find it, and I gotta give a huge shout out to Julian, SlabStox Julian, because I would not have known about this car if it was not for Julian. He was tracking the peer market, looking at what listings were up. I was not paying attention. I was traveling right now,
Ooh.
and he sent it to me. And it ended last night, and I was able to get it, all thanks to Julian. I never even saw it. If I look back at the CL sales history, Nate, and saw
Could
his
you
car,
imagine?
and I bet it would have sold for like 550. I bet it would have sold for 550 because my bid did take it over 680, and then something in that range. Maybe it wouldn't have sold for 721. But I would be very upset. So shout out to Julian. Rainbow complete once I get in my hand.
Ayo.
Last thing here I want to point out is we are up to 6:02 p.m. Eastern time now. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern time, Nate is going to be doing some Merlin. Merlin's coming back, not Prism tomorrow. Pretty excited about that. Nate, pull
Man,
that.
I was so sick of Prism. I'm so happy to get back into some tops soccer. You have no idea.
Well, I am not yet sick of Prism because we were doing our last What's Brewing, giving away a box to celebrate the end of the World Cup and a White Sparkle pack on Wednesday for What's Brewing. Hopefully this time we pull a massive White Sparkle. And then on Thursday, Nate's going to be back with some Stadium Club for the Beam Team chase. We pulled and graded that Messi for someone's X card corner on whatnot. Gold out 50. So Nate can hit a cool Beam Team. And this is a TBD, but Pixar is potentially on Friday. It could be bumped to the following week, depending on what's going on the rest of the week. But either way, catch us on whatnot this week, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And appreciate everyone coming. And Needham Gum did say, Nate, more than 20 drivers is going to be difficult. It's hard to pass cars as it is.
Well, I don't know anything about the actual driving of Formula One. Specifically thinking cards here. Like a couple extra drivers a year for cards would be nice, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. But I understand from the racing standpoint, as Needham is pointing out.
Would be difficult.
And also asked, how do you buy into your brakes? So if you download the Whatnot app, look up SlabStox. You'll be able to see our profile. And also, if you click the link in the description of this video right now, you can get a $10 free credit when you download the app and create the profile. And then you can join Nate tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Save the bookmark of the stream, and you will be able to join him.
Yeah, it's always
good.
All
right, everyone. Nate, thanks for joining me. Everyone, thanks for joining. And I appreciate everyone tossing some comments tonight. Hopefully you had a nice look at the market over the last 3 months-ish. Covered some stuff in the week to week as well. And I hope everyone's enjoying collecting cards and has a happy holidays. This is our last live stream before Christmas. And I hope everyone has a great week. Hang out with family, and Nate, yourself as well.
Yep. You too, Aaron.
Thanks, everyone. See you in the next episode.